Welcome back to Session 0, where today I'm continuing my World of Dungeons playthrough using the Deck of Mini Dungeons by Axebane. I do want to talk about a few things before I start gameplay. Number one, I've also added the cards from Hero Quest. I've got equipment, treasure, monsters, and what I think I'm going to end up doing is replacing this monster leveling chart with something else. Because with these monster cards, I can flip it up. He has 1 body point, so I'll just roll 1d6 and keep it. On Gargoyle, he has 3 body points. So I'm going to call these hit dice. It'll be his hit dice minus 1. So he'll roll 2 hit dice and drop 1. And then the attacks, I think I'm going to also just do the same thing. This will be the number of dice they roll minus 1. Now, you might ask, why don't I just play Hero Quest? Because that's not what I want to do for this series. I really love World of Dungeons as a game. It allows for a lot of flexibility, is what I'm trying to say. And I just really like kind of making stuff up on the fly. I don't want to have to look at a book to tell me, okay, when I enter this room, these 3 enemies are in here, etc. Also, I got my micro packs in. This is 1 card from the village set. I'm going to say this is the village that I started out from. I'm going to call this village Diceburg. I'm going to call it that because I'm really excited about the Final Fantasy Tactics announcement. We're getting a remastered Final Fantasy Tactics at the end of September. And Diceburg is a character in that game. That is Rams's brother, who turns out to be not such a great guy. So if you haven't played Final Fantasy Tactics, I'm so sorry. You have missed out. I love Final Fantasy Tactics. I have pre-ordered it, and I can't wait for that to come in. So this is Diceburg. Now, I did talk about a smithy in my last game. So I'm going to say number 1 here is a smithy. Number 2, I think, is some ruins that can lead to something later. 3, 4, 5, and 6, I don't know what those buildings are yet. I did talk about a librarian. However, this village, Diceburg, is too small to have a library, I feel. And I don't know that a whole lot of people here would be able to read. So I'm going to say this is a halfling librarian who has moved here from some grand city. And let's decide where he lives. 3, 4, 5, or 6. I think 4, because it's kind of like a humble-looking home, whereas these buildings are much larger. So, yeah, I'm going to say the halfling lives here in house number 4. Couple more things that I have to clean up from the last game. Number 1, I had torches, but I realized I didn't have anything to light them with. So I'm going to retroactively purchase flint and steel under adventuring gear. So that cost me 2 flint and steel. Also, I'm going to keep my torches and rations, but I'm going to upgrade to a lantern. A lantern costs me, where did it go? That's a fancy item. Lantern costs me 20. Oh, let's put that here. I'm going to say it has 1 fill of oil, so it can go long. And with torches, I think torches burn out faster than a lantern. So where I was using 2 D6s for the length of time on my torches, I'm going to use 3 D6 for length of time on a lantern. I'm also going to go ahead and purchase some oil. Flame oil or fire oil costs me 20. But it gives me 10 refills of my lantern. I'm down to 225. I'm also going to upgrade my weapon. Right now, I'm just using a hand axe. I'm going to upgrade that to a martial weapon, which is just an axe. So that's going to cost me 30 more. Now I have an axe, which deals d6 plus 1 damage, but skirmish gives it an additional. So now I'm attacking for d6 plus 2. I don't think there's anything else I really need to upgrade here. I don't want to go to full armor because it does slow me down, but I mean, it would give me a lot of armor. I also can't take a shield. If I'm holding a lantern in one hand and an axe in another, I can't carry a shield. I don't think there's anything else super fun I need to do here as far as equipment is concerned, but I do need to decide what I'm going to do in this session. I talked about going down and continuing to map that dungeon I was in, but I don't know that I want to do that because, number one, Torgal, already balked at paying me before, so I don't want to go to him and say, hey, I'll continue mapping this dungeon for you for more money. I don't know that I want to do that. So instead, let's draw an ace card and roll a quest goal. Ace of diamonds. We're going to roll d8 plus level. I'm level 2 now. So it's 8, 9, 10. Kill a small group of evil monsters. So that's what I'm going to do in this quest. Now, how did I know about these evil monsters? Someone in town probably told me. Was it Torgal? I'm going to use my Oracle. That is an odd, so yes, with no modifier to it. Yes, Torgal is the one who told me. I don't know if that's going to remain on camera there. Torgal is the one who told me about this dungeon with evil monsters. So with my monster deck from HeroQuest, equipment and treasure cards from HeroQuest, I'm going to go down into a dungeon, again, built using Axebaine's deck of mini dungeons. So I'm going to turn this in this direction. And also, maybe I go ahead and determine what are the monsters in here. That's too big of a monster. There's not going to be a gang of them, I don't feel. Goblins. Okay, I'm fine with goblins. There are going to be a small group of goblins in this dungeon. How many? Let's roll a d12 and add my level to it. Oops. 7, 8, 9. There are going to be a total of 9 goblins in here that I need to defeat. And let's just get a counter for that. Let's use these. There are 9 goblins in this dungeon that I need to defeat. Now let's just go ahead and keep that goblin card up. There are still going to be other monsters, so I'm still going to keep the monster deck available. Let's put this, let's put it right here for now, and I may have to move it. So that's how we're starting this quest. I'm going in here. Now, is someone going to give me money? And Torgal, of course, is not the person who I need to trust with this. Let's say there's someone else in town, perhaps the mayor of the town. Is he going to pay me money for cleaning out this dungeon? A jack is odd, so that's yes with no qualifier. He is going to pay me per head. He's going to pay me only 4 silver per head to defeat these goblins. Now, I did have this card. I think it's close to town, and I think it's in these ruins, right? These ruins, there's some steps leading down, like the basement of whatever this building used to be. And that's this dungeon. So the mayor would know that, hey man, goblins have moved in there, clear them out for me, and I'll pay you per head. All right, so we are going to start right here. I always have this choice, do I want to go here or here? Let's go in this direction. Let's shuffle this real quick too. And I have shuffled these decks. They're thick decks. I don't want to bother. Let's go this way. Ooh, there's a side steps here. And I think maybe this side entrance is just a crack, maybe in, in this flooring. So we've got the steps, which I went down, but there's also a crack that someone could slither down into to get into the dungeon. So now I've gone into this corridor. I'm not mapping anymore, so I don't care about that. Also, let's use some flint to light my lantern. So I moved into this corridor. I can look out and see, light through that crack. So I know what that is. Let's see if there's anything interesting in this corridor. Is there anything interesting in the corridor? And again, using the oracle, odd is yes, even is no. No and. No, not only is there nothing interesting in this corridor, I can't even hear anything. Like, this card tells me there's a monster here, but I can't hear that, so maybe that monster is resting. Let's move into this room. It's a small room. It shouldn't take a long time to investigate. The thing is, even though I am using this treasure deck, I want to find a book. So I'm going to continue to roll on this table to see if I can find a book worth at least 250 silver. And I'll explain that if and when I do find a book. But I do want to find a book while I'm down here. So let's roll wisdom to see if I find anything in here. And the risk, I think, because I know there's a monster here, the risk is this monster is going to come out into this hallway when I make this roll. Maybe I'm taking too much time. Maybe I'm making too much noise, moving stuff around. Before I do that, though, let's say it's been a couple days, so I'm going to re-roll my hit points. I'm level 2. I'm actually rolling 4d6 hit dice and keeping 2 because I'm level 2. Okay, that's a little bit better. I've got 10 hit points now, whereas before I only had 6. When I ended my last session, I had 6. So now I'm going to make the roll to investigate this room. Looking around, it looks like there's crates, there's a bed. Let's see if I can find something nice in here. Plus whiz, 9, 10. Okay, 10 is great. 10 is a full success. I don't have to worry about the risk here. I do find something, and I am going to roll on this weapons, or on this table here. I do want to find a book, so I'm hoping for a 3. I found a book. That's awesome. Now, I want this book for a specific reason to be worth 250 or more. So I need to roll 4, 5, or 6 for its value. And I got a 1. It's only worth 100. This is not the book I want to find. It was made by, or written by someone unknown. So I don't think I can even read this. And that's fine because it's undervalued. So let's just write book 100. That was my first check, and I was excited to see the book. But alas, it was not to be. So I did look around that room. I think my lantern is fine. It didn't take too long to do that. Let's move back into here. And now I see these 2 doors. Let's open up this room and go into here. Now, I'm not going to roll this monster. I know there's a monster in there because of that little skull. My only question is it a goblin, which is part of my count for this dungeon, or is it another type? So let's go to the oracle. Is the monster in this room a goblin? No. No, it's not a goblin, and I think the and is it's going to ambush me right away. I just dropped one of my dice on the floor. It is a zombie. And it's going to attack me right away. Give me 1 second while I go pick up that die. So it's going to attack me. Body points, it only has 1, but it's always going to get to keep 1. It has 4 hit points. Attack dice are 2, and I'm going to drop the lowest. So it makes an immediate attack for 2. Ooh, I take the lowest one, and it's 6. Now, that's 6 minus my 2 armor. I take 4 damage from this zombie. That's a little bit scary. Another thing I want to talk about is, while I do like this chart for leveling up monsters, I think what I need is also a special thing that certain monsters do. Like, perhaps zombie could turn me into a zombie. So that's something I'll play with a little bit more. But for right now, I'm just going to say that it hits me for a lot of damage. I'm going to strike back at this thing with my axe. Also, maybe with... Oh, see, now here's the thing. I'm not using my torch. I'm using a lantern. So that sucks a little bit. I can't, wave fire at it. So I'm just going to take my axe and try to cleave him right now. It's going to be 2d6 plus my 2 in strength. That's 8, 9, 10. It's a full success. I don't take any type of risk. And the damage is going to be d6 plus 2. Okay, that's 8. And he only had 4 hit points, so he's defeated. And we're going to say that was a level 1 monster, so I only get 20 XP. One thing about this that I should say, maybe monsters are always going to be my level or lower. And that can have some different effects as well. But for right now, I've defeated that zombie. Let's shuffle it back into the deck. That zombie was maybe a villager who went down there trying to clean up the goblins, but was unable to and turned into a zombie for some reason. Okay, now I'm in this room. There is some stuff in this room. So let's search through this pile, see if there's anything there. Something I really like, I was thinking about last night, is the risk here is maybe there's like a snake or a spider in there that's going to bite me while I'm doing this search. So that's the risk. Let's roll plus whiz. That's 7, 8. Okay, that's a partial success. I do find something, but that risk comes to bear. Let's say it was a snake who bit me. 4 minus 2, I take 2 more damage, taking me down to 4. Was that snake venomous? No. All right, I did find something. Again, I'm looking for an expensive book. Let's roll. It is a ring worth 600. Ring 600, and it was made by a human, and its type, it's glowing, a glowing ring. Now, don't know why that ring is glowing. That probably means it has a magical effect, right? So, do I want to just put that on? I'm going to roll a wisdom to see if Vellum would just put that magical ring on without knowing what it is. Magic, it could be cursed, of course. I think the risk here is that it's a cursed ring rather than giving a magical beneficial effect. Oh, that's 11. That's 12. It is not cursed, and because a 12 gives you an additional benefit, it has a really good magical effect. What is that magical effect? Here I just kind of have to make something up, I feel. Let's say, actually, let's use, I also have the artifact deck from HeroQuest, and this is going to be something that's really rare. But let's flip one of these and see what benefit this magic ring has. It's a spell scroll. I don't want a spell scroll because this is a ring. I'm just looking for effect. Arm Band of Healing. Restore 2 lost body points once per quest. If the wearer's body points are reduced to 0, use immediately. So I think this is a ring of healing. And I can use it once per quest to heal 2 damage. I think I'm going to go ahead and use that because I'm already getting low on hit points. So I'm going to use my ring, which I can only use once, to heal 2. And that's something, it's going to gain me experience because I have looted it, but I don't want to sell that. All right, that was a good pull out of this little pile of rubble. Let's move back into here, and then I don't want to mess with that lock yet. I'm going to move in this direction. I think there are too many Terminators in this deck. Now, I have had games where, I mean, there were just some crazy hallways, but I've already drawn 2 Terminators, and I hate that. So I'm going to go into this room. There's a long hallway here. Is there anything special about this hallway? Jack is an odd number. It's an 11. So yes, there is something interesting. What's in here? Is it spider webs? Is there a trap maybe? I'm going to pull the top treasure card. And if there's a hazard here, I'm going to say, yes, there's some type of trap. Okay, it's not. Let's shuffle this. Just an interesting way to do an oracle in a different way. So there is still something interesting in this hallway. I think what's interesting in this hallway maybe is that this secret door has been cracked open so many times that it's really easy to see. So yeah, I think I just automatically see this secret door and move into this hallway. Now, I have to fiddle around a little bit, and I do find the door into here. Again, there is a monster in this room, but is that a goblin? Yes, and I'm going to say there are 2 goblins. So that actually worked out. Now, they have 1 body point, so they each have, 6 hit points. That's crazy. And they're staring me down right now. I think I'm going to go ahead. The closest one to me, as soon as I see what they are, like right as I come out of here, I'm going to charge at the nearest zombie, or the nearest goblin. The risk is the other one gets a jump on me. So this is 5, 6, 7. So it is a partial success. I am going to get my attack in on this goblin, but the other goblin gets an attack in on me while I'm making that attack. He is going to have just 1 attack die. 4 minus my 2 armor. I take 2 damage back down to 4. I think I am going to end up having to rest after I deal with these goblins. So now I do have my attack on him. It's going to be d6 plus 2. 4, 5, 6. I defeat 1 of those goblins. And I am going to say at this point, I didn't before defeating that other enemy. I'm going to say that that's level 2, so I get 40 experience there. And what did I say? I was going to get 4 per head. So that's going to be an additional 4 experience as well when I get to that point. So I've defeated 1 of my 9 goblins. Now, this goblin is the one that made an attack on me, and it maybe starts to back away a little bit, but I'm going to charge in. This is what I'm here to do, defeat goblins, so I'm going to charge in and try to take this one out as well. 4, 5, 6. That is a complete miss. I think the risk here is, and I should have stated before I made the roll, the risk here is I'm so eager to do this that I run in and I fall, like I trip, and that has the possibility of spilling the fluid in my lantern. Does it spill some of the fluid in my lantern? No. Okay, this goblin, I think because he saw me go down, he's going to charge in at me. And now I'm going to roll with dexterity to see if I can get out of the way fast enough. He's coming in. The risk here is no, I don't get out of the way fast enough, and this goblin gets an attack on me. 9, that's a 10. I do get out of the way, and I think maybe I deal some damage to him because that's a roll of 10. Oh, no, I don't get a bonus there. That would have been 12 for the bonus. So I get out of the way, don't take any damage. Now, I am again just going to go try to cleave him down with my axe. It's +2, 9, 10, 11. Okay, that's perfect. It's going to be d6 plus 2 damage, and I get a bonus. I think it's going to be d6 plus 4 damage. So that's 10 damage. That definitely knocks him out. That's another goblin defeated. During this time, that was a long-ish fight. I'm just going to go ahead and say the oil in my lantern has burned down a little bit. All right, there doesn't appear to be anything in this room. So I'm not even going to bother searching. I'm going to go through this door, and I do see some bones in here. If this is the remains of someone who came down here, maybe they have some kind of loot. So I'm going to look through that corpse, the skeleton on the ground, see if they have anything interesting. That's a whiz roll. 9, 10. I do find something, and there's no type of retaliation, no type of risk. I do need to get in the habit of stating my risk before I roll, though. So that skeleton does have something. It's a weapon made, it's an ancient weapon crafted by halflings. Another small little halfling thing worth, oh, that's worth 500. Now, something interesting that I can say here is it is ancient, so it could break if I use it. And it might be like a long sword, but because it's halfling, it fits me perfectly as a normal-sized sword. So as far as martial weapons are concerned, that would probably just be it would probably end up being a short sword, which is a light weapon, because it's made for a halfling. So I'm just going to hold on to that. Let's go back through here, and I've got this easy lock. So I try to open the door. It doesn't open easily, and I think I'm going to just fiddle around with it a little bit, see if I can get it open. That'll be a dex. That's 7, 8. Yes, but there's a risk. I think, what could be the risk here? And like I said just moments ago, I do need to get in the habit of stating my risk beforehand. I think, oh, so here's what I'm going to say. It's interesting. I didn't have any type of proper lockpicks, so I was using that little halfling sword to do this. And it broke. So now this is a broken halfling weapon. I'm going to have its value. So it's down to 250. So let's go to the next room. Oh, finally I get a hallway. Okay. Long hallway here. Is there anything in this hallway before I get to either of these junctions? Anything interesting? No. All right, first thing I'll do is go into this room. It's a small room. I'm going to investigate the room because there are some cots here. Surely someone has slept here in the past. I'm going to roll to see if I find anything interesting in this room, but this I think is going to be time because I am, looking through 3 of these different beds and seeing if there's anything in there. So time is my risk here. That's 6, 7. So yes, I do find something, but it took me some time to do it. Again, rolling on this because I desperately want a book. It's a map, which is fun. It's a fragile map. It's almost crumbling. It was written by humans, and maybe it's the map to this dungeon. It's worth only 100. Crumbling map, 100. Okay, I found that map, and I've got to be really careful with it. It's almost to the point where I don't even want to try to unroll it too often or unfold it too often because it's just going to crumble to dust. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to extinguish my torch or my lantern, have a good sleep in one of these beds. I'll push one of the beds in front of that doorway so nothing can come in. So I am going to rest. I'm going to eat a ration, which I forgot to replenish. I'm going to roll 46 for healing, and I'm going to keep 2 of them. Actually, I get to roll an additional one because I'm a heal. I have the heal skill, so I'm attended by a healer. I'm going to get to keep 2 of these for my hit points. 6 and 6. So I'm up to 12 hit points. That's perfect. Okay, now I'm going to relight that torch, and it still has the same amount of oil in it. I didn't replenish any oil when that happened. So now I move this bed out of the way, come out, come into this corridor, and I can see, to characters right, there's a doorway here, and there's just a long hallway here. I'm going to go ahead and move into this room. I see a monster, and is it one of my goblins? No. That's unfortunate. I really want to be defeating these goblins. Now, I don't necessarily need to take all of the goblins out in this first, delving into this dungeon, but I want to get as many as I can. Not necessarily for the XP, but so I don't have to go back down here to do it again. So that was not a goblin. What's in here? There's an orc living in here, a goblin's big brother. So let's roll his hit dice. He only has 1 body point, so he has 3 hit points, which is good for me, bad for him. But he is attacking with 2 dice, so I am glad I rested. So there is some stuff in here. Does that orc even see me? Yes, he does. So maybe he says something to me, something very orky like, "Oi, what are you doing here?" Let's go in, try to attack this guy. I only need to deal 3 damage to him, but he's a big boy, and it looks in the art like he has some armor. So he only has 3 hit points, but I'm going to say he has 2 armor as well. So I'm going to roll to hit, and risk is, what is the risk here? I think the risk here is if I get my 7 to 9, I'm not going to get to deal damage. So 6 minus, because it's just gonna hit his armor. 6 minus risk is going to be even more than that. I think maybe my weapon will be damaged by his armor. And I get my D6 down to my D6 plus 2 down to D6 plus 1. That's what I'm going to say my risk is. So roll plus 2. It's 8, 9, 10. Thank you. I have no risk. I just get the hit, and I'm hitting for D6 plus 2. 3, 4, 5. And that is perfect because I said he had 2 armor and 3 hit points. So 5 gets through his armor and deals 3 hit points, knocking him out. Shuffle those goblins. I'm going to ask another question here in a moment. So I do get 40 XP. The question I'm going to ask is, this is a small village. Could someone have seen an orc and just assumed they were also a goblin? So if that is a quote-unquote goblin, it also counts towards my kill. Is that the case? No. No, but he's going to give me, the mayor is going to give me money for that head as well. So it doesn't count as a goblin for my count here, but I will get some silver from the mayor for that head as well. All right, let's go out. Let's move in this direction. I get a Terminator, which is fine. Now, there's a goblin over here. Excuse me. I think he has a bow and arrow. Like, he has set up over here specifically because of this bridge, so he can just snipe people. So, he does have 2 hit points, and he has a bow. I think I don't see him right away because it's so dark in here, and I do see some stuff right at my feet. I'm going to see if there's any silver or whatever right here in this pile of stuff. The risk being he's going to get a shot at me. Okay, that's a 10. I do find something, and this guy maybe doesn't hear me. He doesn't get a shot off. So because this pile looks pretty cruddy, I think it's just gold. And there are a lot of cards in here that are just gold amounts. And of course, I'm going to call it silver. So I'm going to discard until I find one of those cards that is just money. Okay, gold. I find 15, which of course I'll say is silver. It takes me up to 210 on coin. Let's go ahead. Now, I don't return this to the deck in Hero Quest, but I'm going to shuffle the other cards back in. Now I have a problem. I do have this chasm here, and as I come up with my lantern, I see this goblin over here. I don't have a bow of any type. I have no ranged weapon. So, if I'm going to kill this guy, I have to try to leap over this chasm. This could be very, very bad. I do have +1 dex. So, I'm going to make the jump. The risk is I don't make it all the way across. So, on a 7 to 9, that's going to mean I, hold on to the side. On a 6-, that means I'm going to plummet. And that's going to be the end of Willem. Maybe not. I am going to roll some dice to see how much damage he takes from the fall, and then he would be in a lower level. So that's what we'll do. Risk is I don't make it all the way across. This is D6 plus Dex, which is 1. Oh my goodness. That is a total of 4. So I go to make this jump, and I am not a jumper. I don't even come close, and I plummet into that pit. Now, we're just going to roll 2d6 to see how deep that pit, not how deep it is, but how much damage I take from the fall. Armor is not going to count here because it's just a big hit. So if I roll 12, I'm done right now. Also, I'm going to say because of the fall, my lantern is going to break, and I'm going to have to replace that lantern. Oh, now there's something interesting. If that lantern breaks, it's probably going to ignite the rest of the oil that's in there. So I'm going to take some damage from fire as well. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to roll 2d6 and a d4 to see how much damage I take. And it's going to knock my lantern out. Now I do have torches still, so I'll still be able to see in the dungeon. But let's see what happens. 6, 7, 8. Oh my goodness. That's 12. I take 12 damage. I hit the ground and take 8. My lantern explodes and catches me on fire, and I take 4 more from that fire. And that's the end of Willem. He went in here trying to make some money, defeating goblins. He got a little bit too excited to take a head, fell down the pit, took a lot of damage from the fall, and then burned to death as his lantern exploded all over him. All right, that's what happens when you play a role-playing game sometimes. So I'm just going to take that loss and go ahead and create a different, maybe not fighter. I'll go ahead and make another character, not a fighter, and we'll see what happens. All right, that's the end of Willem so early in his career. Let me know what you think. Let me know what I did wrong, or not necessarily what I did wrong, but what else I could or should have done. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.